The title of my talk today is how we can create a bespoke and iconic precast concrete facade through collaborating with architects. I will explain the process that I went through in collaborating with the architects and the outcome of this precast concrete facade that is bespoke, and also many of them are iconic. The process that I went through in developing these precast facade panels, and we are focusing on three primary issues: the colors of the precast concrete facade, and then the textures. Texture meaning whether they are smooth or they are rough, or they are half smooth and half rough, and so on. And of course, and there is the profile. That means the shape or the form of the concrete panel facade. It's a condominium project consisting of 3 towers, each one about 40 to 50 story high. And then our work is used at the shear wall, the black walls here that you can see from your bedroom. When you sleep, you are next to it, or you can see them in your living room or in the balcony, and also from a distance. This is what one of the panels look like. It's a precast concrete panel. The natural concrete, there is no paint, there is no skim coat, there is no plastering. This is the honest expression of the concrete. But how we can do this is not so easy. You have to be very clean, and color has to be very uniform to meet Norman Foster's requirement. In order to make sure that the color is consistent, because we're not painting the panels, all the raw material has to come from the same source. For instance, the granite aggregates had to come from the same source. You can't use granite here from this quarry today and then the next batch from another quarry, because a different material such as the granite or the cement or the sand will alter the color of the concrete panels. And to make the panels, we have the mold. In this case, this panel, the mold size is 1 meter by 3 meter, and we pour the concrete after we have chosen all the mixes. And then there is a U-shaped panel that is done in this mold. It's made of a steel, and this is the panels that are cast from the steel mold. And they are used, in this case, you can see the U-shaped panel on the end, and then the flat panels in the center. What I want to highlight is that the Norman Foster had a very strict requirement on the color and then on the uniformity of the texture. And for the color wise, he doesn't allow any black mark which is natural in concrete, such as the effect like a marble. He doesn't allow that. So anything that is bigger than, they say, if you have a black blotch that is bigger than a 50-cent coin, that will be rejected. And all the panels have to be compared similar to the one that we sent to London office, the circle in the red, and the color has to be very consistent, ranging from the lightest gray on the top and the darkest gray that he allows on the bottom. And you can see the lightest and the darkest is exactly the same color. But such is the Norman Foster's requirement on this particular project. So up close, it looks like a stone. You can see all those white marble chips and the gray marble chips, and then the gray cement in between. From a distance, it looks very clean as a shear wall that goes up to 40, 50 story high. The second project is a new state courts designed by a Chinese Singaporean, Chris Lee, but based in UK, together with his partner Multiply and the local architect CPG. Our work is the red panels that is in between all these white beams and white columns. Now, this is the original concept during the design stage. Architect wanted this terracotta, the natural terracotta in this curved shapes and form, and the color is a bit uneven. However, the terracotta panels that they sell mostly are flat panels, and the color is very uniform. Of course, you can make the terracotta panels curved, but I think the cost is very high. So that's why it was changed to a precast concrete. As you can see here, the color of this rendering shows there's only one red color, and the texture, we just there's no mention on the texture, and then the profile is the groove line, the in and out, and the groove line is the width is consistent throughout. It's only one width. However, after we got a job, the architect wanted us to revise the design. So his new design concept is to want to make everything very random. What I mean by that is the color will be more than just one color. It becomes from one red color to 4 different terracotta colors, like in the roof tile that you see. He said, Jay, this is, can you do this? This is the terracotta tile of this roof tile that he saw, that he liked. Say, I want to do something similar to that. I said, yeah, maybe I can try. So the color has to be 4 different colors, and the texture will become, it will be slightly rough. And the profile, meaning the ins and out, those groove lines have become from one width to 6 different groove line widths. So when you combine them, it'll be all very random. And throughout the building, they different. He would want a different color scheme for different floor. They had chosen 4 different main color. For the terracotta, you can see them here. Color 1, 2, 3, 4. Each one of the terracotta color will consist of 4 different shades of the same color. So altogether, there are 16 shades that we need to do. And it gets to be quite complicated. As you can see, we have to do lots and lots of these small samples for him to choose. Now, Chris Lee is based in London, so we have to Skype. This is before COVID and before Zoom, and we have to Skype. And sometimes we have to use our handphone to take photos and then share the photos through the handphone. But we have soon come to realize the iPhone and Samsung phones, they have different colors, so we have to use all Samsung. We all agree to use only Samsung phones when we share the color, so we can see the same. We can discuss on more accurately on the color, because we're talking about very fine a distinction of all the shades of the terracottas. And we have to do, and we have, after all these panels that we have cast, we have to do 3 sets of these control samples, 1 to be kept by the main contractor, 1 by us, and 1 by the architect. And this is the based on the architect's drawing. We have to do a visual mock-up. As you can see, we are doing this mock-up panel here in this red box, and the each panel is about 6 meters tall, and the different, you can see all the panels have different width, and then also the colors. There are 4 different shades of the same terracotta colors, and then the groove lines, they are all uneven. So the whole thing looks very random and very natural, yeah, rather than just a single color and a single width of the groove lines. And the panel, there are 3 types of 3 widths of the panel. The widest one is 1.8 meter, and then there's a 1.2 meter wide, and then there's the 900 meter wide. And after the job is done, the visual mock-up is approved. All the team got together for group photos, and then the gentleman that you see in the middle is Chris Lee of Serie, surrounded by the local architect, CPG, and other consultants on the job. And the VMU on the visual mockup, the architect had to show to URA the effect of the night lighting. So it was done on the visual mockup that we have done, and it doesn't look quite different from the actual wall with sunlight. with a nightlight effect. And the panels are transported from our factory based in Johor to the site in Singapore, which is about, by lorry, it's about an hour drive. And you can see how the panels are stacked one on top of the other, and each panel being 6 meters. So the whole width of this particular floor is about 12 meters high. And if I stand here, you can see that I'm only up to somewhere here. So you can see the scale of this is actually quite. So we were able to change from the original terracotta design to a uniform red color, a single color, single groove line precast, to something that is very random and very interesting. And all this design upgrades was done after we got a job. And recently, this project has won an award. It's the Hive in NTU in Singapore. It's designed by this gentleman in front of the building, Mr. Thomas Heatherwick. This project, we say the facade is iconic because this project has become an icon for NTU. Everything that NTU uses in the recruitment or in the advertisement, in this case, this Facebook page, is all they have used this the Hive as the icon for the school. Now, before I get to the facade design, the precast design, because this project is so interesting, not just on the facade, but also on the layout and also on the form and also on the interior. So I'd like to just spend a few minutes talking about some of the interesting features about this project. And many of these photos are just taken from the website of the architect, such as this one. And this is a project. The red spot is the campus location, is the location of the building. The total build up is about 14,000 square meter, and at a cost about Singapore dollars, about 45 million. Now, $45 million, I was told by the architect, it is cost of a car park structure in Singapore. So in other words, he is working with a very tight budget on this project. So so everything that was done for this project, both interior and exterior, all natural concrete without any paint or any of those claddings. The layout consists of 12 pots, like a flower petals. There are 12 of them, and also 12 towers, and each tower about 8 floors high. And this is what the structure looks like. You can see all the columns, they are all slanted, they're all sloped. And every column has a different different slope. So it is a very complicated project. I mean, it's very difficult to build. I was told by I was told by the main contractor. And this is the interior of the atrium. The atrium is all naturally ventilated, which is and when you are inside, you don't, even without the air conditioning, you feel still very comfortable because of the natural ventilation of this building. So it's very successful in that regard for a tropical design. In one of the talks by Thomas Heatherwick, he mentioned that he was explaining the concept of the layout. You can see that he said the traditional in the traditional school, you have a long and narrow corridor, and each room is a squarish room with a lecturer standing in the front and a student all sitting at the back. Now, in his concept, in his design, he has made all the classroom into like a flower-shaped petals, round, and then very irregular and very organic. You can see that this is the interior of the classroom. The classroom is not squarish, it's round, and all the tables, the chairs, they're all movable. So there's no front, and then there's no back. So, and then the blackboard, the traditional blackboard is all around the wall of this classroom. And then the lecturer does not necessarily stand in the front, but she can be anywhere. So this is the new, I think, the new concept of learning. And another feature I was told, I heard in his lecture, is that they have this corridor that connects all these pods, and the corridors are designed to allow and to encourage interactions among the students. And he said, Thomas Heatherwick said in one of his talks, that the one of the minister told him that he would like the design to promote and to increase the birth rate of Singapore. In other words, getting all the boys and girls, getting them to meet along the corridor and so on. So, judging from the photos that I can see online and all the wedding photos taken here and here, I think Thomas has done a very good job. After I got a job, we have Thomas and I have changed the facade, and I'll share with you the process that we have gone through. We have changed the colors, and we have changed the profile, and we also have changed the textures. Now, on the color, originally he liked something like this. He said, "Hey Jay, can you do this kind of cotton steel work?" I said, "Yes." So in his rendering, he actually got this design, but now, however, it looked like this. How it became from this design to that, I will try to explain. Now, Thomas saw a few samples that I did, and he liked this too. But he said, "Jay, can you make this gray a bit more beige, the one on the left? Or can you make this beige a little bit more gray?" I said, "Sure." And the next time that he comes to site, now he comes to Singapore maybe once every month or once 2 months. So I must get the color right. Each time I must get the design changed right. Otherwise, the process would take of a long time. Here you have the most gray, and here you have the most pink. And he chose the most pink. And this is the color that he's chosen. Now, the profile, he sent me this photo. "Hey, Jay, can you, this is the job that he liked. This is the Perot Museum of Natural Science and of Nature and Science in the US. He said, "Jay, can you do this?" He liked this. Every panel is unique, and then all these joints, they are not vertical, they are sloped. I said yes. So he changed his profile to something like this. It's all curvy, it's all wavy, and each one is about 3.2 meter tall and 2 meter wide. Now the next thing is that we look at the textures. There are two different textures, the rough and smooth on each panel. The recessed, the curved part, the darker part is the rough texture, and then the lighter one is a smooth. And then he sent me this rendering with this detail blow up. Then when I looked at this, I said, "Oh no," because you can see that the color here is quite random. It looks like a stone, and it has all the pixels. Now, the ones that I did was very uniform. So from a distance, the one that I did, where I show him, which he has approved, would look very flat. Would look like a paint. It wouldn't look like this. So when I explained to him next time over a cup of coffee, he said, "Jay, this is what I want to do." He was sketching his design on this packet of sugar. So I pretended that I understood. And the next time he came, I showed him a lot of samples, some new, some from my factory I've done in the past. And from that, I picked about 10 panels. I said, "Thomas, if you were to combine all these panels, we probably can achieve the effect that he was looking for." So that's a color. And then I'm trying to do these voids and holes like a natural travertine. Now, how I did it was I stole this packet of Himalayan rock salt from my wife's kitchen, and then I pour this salt onto the mold, and I pour the concrete, and then after the concrete is dry, I would wash with water to dissolve and remove all those rock salt. So I get these holes. My actual project, I have to use this garam kasar, which is a lot more cheaper than the Himalayan rock salt that I use for the sample. And then to make the surface even rougher, I stole from the kitchen a packet of baking soda. I mix with water and pour into the mold, and then I pour concrete. So when concrete comes in contact with the baking soda, it will destroy the surface, making this kind of a pattern, this broken is the broken surfaces. And when you combine them, you look something like the mock-up that Thomas is commenting. And what he said was, translation, but a bit darker, please. And with that, we did all the small panel from a lighter to darker, and then he chose the one that is most dark. And for the recessed part, he the color and texture, he has chosen the one that is the most dark. But he has one more comment. But more brown pebbles and less black. So with that, we were able to do the VMU, the first panel for him to review. So he looked at up close, and then actually, you know, when you come to look at it, the color is very similar to the image that he has shown me before. And then he stood from a distance and then viewed it, and then he approved it, signed it off, and we have to produce them, and we install them by mobile crane. And this is the fixing method. You have 2 points that sits on the slab, and then you have 2 points that is held at the top for a restraint. And this is the finished project. And I wish to highlight there's about 1,000 over pieces, and each piece is unique. Every panel is unique, and this makes our work very complicated. But because of this richness and combination, it makes this project very interesting. The final project, I mean, they find the photo of this project. I once asked Thomas, what is your favorite project? He said, oh, it's NTU. That was in 2015. But he said, Jay, this is my first completed projects. In the past, his projects are all bridges and the UK, the hall in the Expo 2020. This is his first permanent project. But he said, I also like it because it looked like a Japanese pottery. As you know, Thomas Heatherwick is not trained as an architect. He was trained as an artist. So he likes, the handiness of the quality of this project. And his work has been shown around the world, including here in Singapore, in the US. Proud to say that my panel sits right in front of the London bus that he has designed, right in the museum. So I'm very proud that my concrete panel is actually shown in the museum. And he also used this design for the book cover, and obviously he quite liked my work.